Hello, BookTube. One second. I'm gonna take those off. We're gonna get casual. Plus, I'm tired of the glare. Welcome. Welcome to BookTube SFF Battles. As you can see, I have my large Dunkin' Donuts coffee with me. I'm gonna take a drink so the ice doesn't rattle and bother everybody. But we are here today to talk about BookTube, SFF, and just general SFF content creators on the internet. I will be completely honest with you. At first, this BookTube SFF Babbles was a little tough for me because my favorite SFF content creators are my fellow judges on this panel. So obviously I would have you go check all of them out, but that's just a little echo chambery, and that doesn't actually help you very much because I feel like that's kind of obvious as the judges for the BookTube SFF Awards that everybody who's doing this is pretty much an SFF content creator. So outside of that, I was thinking of people to check out, and I came up with a couple people. They're a little bit more on the margins. They're not necessarily strict one thing or the other or just SFF, but they do good work. They do good work, people, and they talk about really great books. First one, Jen Campbell. Amanda sent her the other day, called her basically kind of the mother hen of BookTube. We've all kind of taken her on as that. I would agree to that wholeheartedly. Jen Campbell is an author and a booktuber who talks about a lot of not necessarily SFF or strict fantasy, but a lot of magical realism, especially magical realism in poetry and short stories. She has really, really great recommendations on all of those things, like specific videos where she just recommends titles related to those things, where you can go and check those out. She also just does a lot of talking about kind of again, fringe fantasy things that's not necessarily high fantasy or hard SF, but might kind of wiggle in some of those genre lines a little bit. Along those same lines, there's Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. She does read more high fantasy. She was really in on the Robin Hobb train of last year. Her and Caitlin and Sam kind of led that revolution, so she's read a lot of fantasy. She doesn't stick strictly to that. She also does a lot of literary fiction, nonfiction, short stories, and other things. But if you watch, you will always catch hint of at least one or two fantasy titles that she's getting ready to pick up. She also does graphic novels, which I think is a really great inclusion. If you're looking for people who talk more about science fiction or who talk about short fiction, I would definitely check out Rachel from Colonnati and Joe from Final Joe Blow. I will link their channels down below. They have started a new thing where they are doing a monthly live show to talk about all the short fiction that they've read that month. I was not able to watch a whole bunch of the one that they just did for February, but I did watch some of it. They talk about a lot of things that are being published on Tor and in Lightspeed, Clerk's World, some of those outlets. So definitely something to check out if you're interested. And then, of course, on their channels, they talk about both science fiction and fantasy, shorter and longer works. And then there's also some of the bigger channels. If you're interested in storytelling that's not necessarily typical bookish media, if you're more into video gaming, digital interaction, that kind of stuff, definitely check out Geek and Sundry. The storytelling involved in a lot of their role-playing games really is incredibly in-depth and incredibly well written. So definitely something to check out. I would definitely also recommend checking out the Sword and Laser YouTube channel. The Sword and Laser Goodreads group is one that I've been a part of for a while. They usually are reading one science fiction and one fantasy, one sword and one laser book every month, and they talk about them on Goodreads and on their podcast and on their YouTube channel. And then also on their YouTube channel they recommend other books and like other forms of science fiction and fantasy media that you might want to check out. So those are the sites that I've come up with. Definitely check out some of those if you're interested in some of the more on the fringe stuff. Check out the judges. All of us do wonderful work in science fiction and fantasy, if I do say so myself. Lucky enough to be included in that group. So definitely check out everybody that I have linked down below. Leave me your comments. Please recommend me your channels. This is probably one of the SFF Babbles that I'm most excited for watching other people's videos for, because as you can tell, some of my SFF specific watchings aren't as vast as they probably could be. So let me know down below what you think, who you watch, who you love, like, subscribe, and of course, check me out all around the internet. Bye, guys.